This conference will now be recorded.
Right. Right. So far we are discussing what standard badges. So as part of this standard body, so if you take the concept of standard badges, the definition and triggering of the body, the definition of the standard body and the triggering of the standard body is taken care by SAP itself. As a developer, we are only responsible for implementation. Okay, so implementation is done by whom? A developer. So this implementation you provide as part of the transaction code SC19, and definition will be provided by SAP as part of the transaction code SC18. Then the triggering of this body is done by what? SAP, and this triggering of the body is done from what? Standard transaction. SAP itself will trigger this particular standard bodies from the standard transactions. Okay, this is the concept of what? Standard bodies. Now SAP has given the provision to create what? Our own bodies. Okay, we can create our own bodies, and we can plug that baddies to the standard transactions. Okay, I repeat once again, we have the provision to create the custom baddies. Okay, and we can plug that particular custom body to n number of what transactions. So we'll see how to work with custom baddies. So this custom baddies, in case of custom baddies, the definition, the implementation, and the triggering of the body. All these three activities are taken care by what? Developer itself. Okay. So let's see how to create the custom body. So we'll see two examples in this custom body. One is filter independent bodies, another is filter dependent bodies. Okay. Once we are done with the filter dependent bodies, we'll see how to plug it to what standard transactions. Okay. Right. So first we'll take what custom body, which is what filter independent. Okay, so what is the procedure here? Procedure is, first we need to create what? Custom body. So what are the new bodies we create? Okay, what are the new bodies we create from 6.0? Okay, we call this bodies as what? New bodies, or we call it as what? Kernel bodies. Okay, what are the new bodies we create from 6.0? They are called as what? Kernel bodies. So already somewhere we have discussed, in case of what bodies which are available prior to 6.0, they are available independently, but from 6.0 the bodies are stored inside what? Enhancement spot. So the first step we need to do is we need to define the body. We cannot directly define the body. We need to create what? Enhancement spot. Just like you can assume, if you as part of our ABAP, we'll be using what? So many standard function models. We'll be using many standard function models. Okay, so first we need to create if you want to create a custom function model, first we need to create what? Function group. Okay, I repeat once again, if it is a standard function model, directly we'll call it from our program. But if it is a custom function model, first of all we need to create what? Function group. Once a function group is created, inside that function group we can create any number of what? Function modules. So here also I cannot directly create the BADI definition. First we need to create what? Enhancement spot. So what is an enhancement spot here? Enhancement spot is an object which is a container of what? BADI definitions. Okay. So where do we create this enhancement spot? In SC18. So let me go to SC18. Okay, I'm trying to create the enhancement spot. So I'll go to SC18. One second. Here, yeah. So let me navigate to SC18 for creating the BADI definition. Suppose we have two radio buttons here, enhancement spot and not BADI name. Okay. So before 6.0, this is 6.0 version. Before 6.0, if you go to SC18, we don't have the enhancement spot concept. If you work in 4.6C or 4.7 version, okay, we don't have enhancement spot. Directly we can create the BADI definition. But from 6.0, what are the new BADIs we create? They are called as what? Kernel BADIs. And those kernel BADIs are always stored inside what? Enhancement spot. So in this SC18, I'll try to create the BADI definition directly. Let me choose the radio button BADI name. I'll give the name here. Since it is a custom BADI, let us start with the ZRY. So I'll give it as ZCST BADI. Okay, so I'm giving the BADI name as ZCST BADI. I'll click on create. Yeah, when I click on create, it is giving another saying that create operation is possible only for what? Enhancement spot. So from 6.0, directly we cannot create the BADI definitions. So let me choose the radio button enhancement spot. So as of now, what is an enhancement spot? It is only a container of what? BADI definitions. Just like a function group is a container of function models, enhancement spot is a container of BADI definitions. Okay, so I'll choose enhancement spot. I'll give the name of the enhancement spot as Z. I'll give it as something ENH spot. Something. Okay, Z ENH spot. I'll click on create. Yeah, it is allowing me to create the enhancement spot. It is asking some short text. I'll give some short text custom enhancement spot. That is asking the technology. As of now, we have only one entry here, that is BADI definition. Might be in future they may add some more entries. As of now, if you see the drop down here, we have only what? One entry, which is BADI definition. So just provide the enhancement spot, and the technology is BADI definition. We don't require this composite enhancement spot, just ignore it. Continue. Continue means create. I'll click on this continue. So it is asking for what? A package. So enhancement spot also is a separate object. Enhancement spot is also a separate object. Means in the projects we need to transport the enhancement spot as well as the BADI definition separately. Okay, it is a separate object. It is an individual object. So since I am not going to do any transportation, I'll save it in not local object. Done. So this is a screen here. So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to create the enhancement spot where we created that in SC18. What is the enhancement spot name? I give ZENH spot. Okay, done. Then what is the next step here in SC18 only? In SC18, as part of enhancement spot, what we have to do? We need to create the BADI definition. Okay, so initially when you are working with the standard BADIs, we know the components of BADI definition. No? Components of BADI definition. What are the components of BADI definition? Every BADI definition will be associated with BADI interface. Okay, and we will collect the information whether the BADI is single use BADI or multiple use BADI, and we will collect the information whether the BADI is filter dependent or filter independent. So when we create the custom BADI also, we need to specify whether it is single use or multiple use, whether it is filter dependent or filter independent. And the moment I give the BADI name, SAP, we need to provide the BADI interface also because it is a custom BADI. Okay, so what I'll do is here, as part of this enhancement spot only, okay, here I need to create what? BADI definition. I need to create the BADI definition. Okay, I can click on it, create BADI. Otherwise what I can create it here. Otherwise, first let me activate my enhancement spot. It is as of now inactive. So let me save the enhancement spot, check for the syntax error, activate the enhancement spot. Okay, so assume that enhancement spot is created. At later point of time, if you want to create the valid definition, what you will do? Again, you'll go to SC18. Then here I'll provide the enhancement spot. I'll open it in change mode. You'll get the same screen. Here we need to create the BADI definition. So let me click on what? Create BADI. I'll click on the button create BADI here. Understood? I'll click on create BADI. Done. It is asking the name of the BADI. So you can see the proposal here. It is asking us to start your BADI with what? The Z, because it is a custom BADI. So let us stick to the standards. I'll give the BADI name as something ZCST BADI. Something. Some name I'll give ZCST BADI. I'll provide the description here. Let me give the description as custom filter independent BADI. Custom filter independent BADI. I'll click on continue. Done. So you can see here, this is a BADI definition. This is a description. We have the checkboxes, multiple use, all those things. So if you want to provide multiple active implementations, we need to select the checkbox multiple use. If you don't select, it becomes what? Single use. Single use means we can have only what? One active implementation. So let me go for what? Multiple use. Done. One second. Yeah. So I selected the checkbox what? Multiple use. So as part of the BADI definition, what you have to do, we have to provide the BADI interface. So if you expand this, you can see here we have interface and implementation. So if I double click on the interface, it is asking us to provide what? Interface name. And as of now, this BADI doesn't have any implementation. So even if I double click on this, we don't have any implementations as of now for this BADI. So we are creating this custom BADI in which version? 6.0. So what are the new BADIs we create in 6.0? We call it as kernel BADIs. So in case of this kernel BADIs, we need to provide the interface name. If you create the same thing in the previous versions, in the older versions, that is before 6.0, based on the BADI name, SAP itself will propose what? BADI interface name. I repeat once again, if you're creating the custom BADI in the older version, that is before 6.0, we call it as a classic BADI. So in that case, based on the BADI definition name, SAP itself will propose a BADI interface name. So in this case, what is the BADI definition name I gave? ZCST BADI is a BADI definition name. So what we have to do now, since this is a kernel BADI, since it is not proposing an interface name, we have to provide the interface name. So I can give any name here. Since it is a custom interface, I can give any name, but we need to follow the standards. What is the standard? What is the naming standard for the interface? If underscore ex underscore BADI definition name. Even if you don't follow the naming standards, here I can create. But the problem is when you're doing the what, when you're migrating, when your system is getting migrated to the next version, higher versions, again we need to recreate the badges because we are not following the standards. If you follow the standards and you not recreate, they also get migrated. Just we need to activate them in the new versions. That's the reason. Always follow the naming conventions provided by SAP. So what is the interface name I have to give? ZIF underscore ZIF underscore EX underscore. What is the baddie name? CST baddie. So just provide the name CST baddie. This is the naming convention. ZIF underscore EX underscore CX baddie. Done. So if you press enter, it is saying that the class or interface does not exist. Do you want to create the object? Yes. Right. So interface is also a separate object. It is asking for the package name for that. So let me say it in the local object. Right. Let me save the enhancement spot. So we proposed what? BADI interface name. What is the interface name we give? Z if underscore ex underscore CST BADI is the name of the interface. That. So you can see it has taken the control dot class builder. Where do we create the global interfaces? In SC24 only, in the class builder only. It has taken the control dot class builder. So what is an interface? Interface is a collection of what? Abstract methods, one or more methods. So I'll just give one method here, M1. Like this, I can create what? N number of what? Methods. Earlier we have seen when you're working with the standard bodies, each body will contain interface and each interface will contain what? N number of what? Methods. So here also as part of your custom body, I can associate any number of methods. So for simplicity, I'm associating only what? One method. And this is a method name. And already we know an object oriented. Interface methods are always what? Public. Interface components are always public. So that's why it is not asking whether it is public, protected or private. By default it is public. So the method name is M1. I cannot provide any implementation. If I try to double click on this method, it will not open me any editor. Means I cannot provide implementation as part of what? Interface. So let me save the interface, activate your interface. Let me activate the interface. The interface is activated. So we have created what? One method in this. What is the method name? M1 is the method name. It's an instance method. Yeah, it's activated. And if you want to take any parameters, you can take the parameters here. As of now, this method doesn't have any parameters. I'm not taking any parameters for this method. Fine. Let me go back. So my definition is done. So if you go back to the definition SC18, Yeah, you can see it. This is your BADI interface and this is a method. As of now, it doesn't have any implementation, so let me activate this once again. Right, it is activated. What is the next step now? We need to create what? The first implementation. Is it a single use BADI or multiple use BADI? I think the checkbox multiple use is selected. So if you see at the definition level, if you double click on that, multiple use got selected. Okay, so it can have any number of what implementations. Now we need to what implement this particular BADI, and this BADI is not existing independently. It is stored inside what enhancement spot. So earlier, when we are trying to implement the standard BADIs, we implemented some BADIs like customer underscore add underscore data, customer underscore add underscore data underscore cs, what else, vendor underscore add underscore data, or vendor underscore add underscore data underscore cs. Okay, and yesterday we implemented the value what is that, underscore gui underscore po underscore what custom. Okay, so all those baddies are what classic baddies. All those baddies are what classic baddies. Okay, so we are, because why I'm saying classic baddies, they got migrated from what older version. So this is a new baddie which we created now. So I'll try to provide the implementation now. So where do you provide the implementation? SC19. So if you go to SC19, so earlier when we implemented our baddies like customer data CS, or vendor data CS, in SC19 what you are doing in the create implementation block. It is still loading that. Yeah. So we have two blocks here, edit implementation block and what? Create implementation block. So earlier when you are implementing our baddies, since those baddies are migrated from the older versions, we are choosing the radio button classic baddie and we are giving the baddie